Hello, and thank you guys for tuning back in or coming in for the first time wherever we're meeting. I wanted to also kind of give a shout out to my Instagram. This channel here, the YouTube, is still going to be staying raw, mainly unedited. However, I have started to do some edits, still on the motivational, like leadership, just development genre, of course, but it's more like the edit, short clip, reel type stuff that you see on a lot of different social media platforms now. That can be found at Blake Hicks 1234. That's on Instagram. I probably will be looking into making like a TikTok or a Facebook here soon. Just haven't been able to get around to it yet, but I'd love to have you. Love to have you along there. It's more artistic, of course. It's not like the long conversational message format content like it is here. It's more just art style. But I'd love to have your support, and I'd love to have you join me there. Also, I wanted to acknowledge, obviously, I haven't been keeping up to the weekly commitment to make videos. I just had some different stuff come up in life, as it does. Life be life, but it's kind of some of the point of the message today that we'll get into. But I still want to make weekly videos. That's still the goal. That's still the intent. Maybe down the road even more. However, I didn't. However, that's still the intent. I should be able to get back into it here now, and hopefully get back onto the schedule of making the weekly videos for us. Now, it's a good transition in today's message, which is how limitless we are as humans, and how powerful we are as humans, and the fact that we are limitless, and that the only limitations that really exist are the ones that we make up and draw in our own mind. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that we don't have roadblocks, or we don't have things that come up in life. That's, again, life. However, there's always a route around. There's always a path. You might have to go through the weeds a little bit to get back onto the road, but sometimes there's entire detours that you need to make, or just a higher calling, a higher path altogether. I think all too commonly, people run into things that are intended to teach you something, or intended to get you on a better route to get to where you're going than what you're currently projected to, and they hit these things and they just take them as parking opportunities, and and they park the car and don't continue down their road. But the reality of it is there's no lion that can't be slain. There's nothing that you can't do. Now the message, not the message, but the route may change, but the journey stays the same. Now, sometimes you may have to go completely around a mountain to get to where you're going, but you can do anything that you set your mind to. You can truly do anything. I think one of the best ways to talk through this as well is the power of statements. I'd like to start talking about the power of statements a lot more with this channel as well, and it's just all too often people run into these obstacles, they'll run into these things, and they start to hit I'm not good enough, or I am weak, or I am fat, I am ugly, I am skinny, I am broke, I am whatever it may be. Insert here. And all those ill minds or ill things that you put into your mind, they don't serve you, for one. They're certainly not going to help you get around that obstacle or reach your goals and your dreams. But secondly, you're telling yourself lies, because you're a limitless being that was created with a God inside you to do anything that you could ever imagine. I mean, you hear stories about all of the insane things that us as humans draw up, and on the counter side of it, you hear people all the time that have nothing, that do really nothing with their life. That spectrum there, that variety of difference inside of our one being, our one, obviously we're all different beings, but inside of our one species, that is the definition that we are limitless. We can truly do anything. There is not another species, there is not another animal on this world that has the choice to do nothing, that has the choice of free will, how we do. If a bird decided to not fly south, that it was obviously means it needs to fly south, it will die. It will not survive. That is just what it has to do. Same with animals out here. If a squirrel didn't gather nuts and gather food for the winter, they would starve and they would die. And us as humans, we have the free will to invent and dream and create. And in that answer, or in that question of how do you know that we are limitless, or just the question and the doubt in your mind is the answer in itself, because you have the ability to doubt. And to go back to those power statements that we talked about a little bit ago, it's not only just you speaking poison and ill things into your own mind, it's blasphemy. Our Creator, the master of the universe, when we first met him and we asked, what do we call you? He told us to call him I am. So when you say things like I am weak, or I am not capable, or I am whatever negative thing you want to put in there, you're not just speaking illy on yourself, you're speaking illy on your Creator, the one that made the heavens and the earth and everything perfect. He knew you before we ever walked this earth, before we ever took our first breath. He wouldn't have put you there if you weren't intended for it. And to speak illy on him, his creation, is blasphemous. If you don't believe that you're strong enough, know that with and through God, you are. And for any of the people on this channel that don't like or are uncomfortable with the idea of me talking about God and Jesus, I just tell you that he'd love to have you come home. He truly would. That's really the whole message today, is don't get caught in the little strings and the bull crap of life. It's meant to get you somewhere better. It's meant to teach you a lesson that you wouldn't have learned in the other way. Take the higher route. Take the path that is calling you. How do you know it's calling you? Because there's a boulder in front of you, man. It's one of those beautiful things in life that the answer, or the question in itself, is the answer. And I hope each and every one of you that tunes in, and everyone that doesn't, realizes how limitless you truly are. Thank you for tuning in today. Appreciate you. Thanks for spending some time with me today. And to my boys, I'm so proud of you. Enjoy the day and be blessed.